Hello, here is a student example for you to look over for the Padlet evaluation essay. Notice that it is in Word and it has the MLA format set up. Remember, you start with your student ID number so I can grade anonymously. Then you have my name and our course with the section number and the date in MLA format. And the page numbers go at the top right hand corner with your ID number in front of them. And then you want to center a title, and then you'll have an introduction and probably about 3 body paragraphs followed by a conclusion paragraph. And then at the end you're going to have a works cited page. You definitely want to list the Padlet, and then if you use anything from the actual passage, you'll want to also cite that. So for the Padlet, you're going to do the student's name, last name, comma, first name, period. In quotation marks, you're going to put the title of their Padlet with a period, and then you'll put Padlet in italics because that's the program. And then you'll put a comma and you'll copy and paste the URL. Just remember to remove the hyperlink and also delete the https://. And then at the very end, you want to put your access date, the date that you looked at the Padlet, just like this, with a period at the very end of it. So going back to the top, let's go through the essay. You're going to start with an introduction that gives us a background, grabs your reader's attention, and ends in a thesis statement. This one talks about Padlet board design first, and then it moves into the specific Padlet that they're writing about, which is on Bill McKemmon's designer jeans. And then it specifically says what things it's going to evaluate in the paper, and it makes a claim about the Padlet board. So what we're talking about is the Padlet board. Was it successful or not? They said it's successful. And then the 3 things they're going to talk about are the organization of the information, the overall design of the work, and the support given to the arguments in the essay. So that's their thesis, and then the body paragraphs will be in this exact same order, and they'll all talk about how these elements were successful, since that's what the thesis statement is claiming. So each body paragraph is going to start with a topic sentence that has a thesis link to the overall topic, as well as announces the topic of the body paragraph, and then has some wording in there that says that it was a successful element. So this first one says the organization in this Padlet board is well executed and flows perfectly to allow the audience time to contemplate all the information the presenter and designer of the Padlet board has laid out. Padlet board is the overall topic of the paper. Organization is the topic of the paragraph, and it was successful because it's well executed and flows perfectly. So this student took each piece of the Padlet board, the 4 pieces, and just gave some details about each of those and how that organization worked well. They started with the summary, and then they moved to the historical context. And you can see the positives about it. The summary hooks the audience. The historical context is a perfect follow-up, and they explain why. And then they move into the biography part about McKibben. It says why that's successful. It allows the audience to have a better appreciation, and continues with some more details. And then finally, it goes over the insight section, which is the presenter's views, and says why it was good. It has it gives the audience time to consider everything else, and then they can look at this specific example. And then after talking about all 4 elements and how they're good, it ends with a summary sentence. With the organization being clear and logical to follow, the topic leads easily to the visuals of the Padlet board being equally as successful. So what did we just talk about? The clear and logical organization. What's my next body paragraph about? It's all about the visuals and how those are also successful. So the next topic sentence says, the visuals fit well with the subject matter and set the right kind of tone. So the topic of the paragraph is the visuals. It's a positive element, so it sets the right kind of tone, expresses that. It starts out making a comment about the overall design, and then it narrows into some examples. It gives some details about the background and its success, and then it moves into the GIF with some details about that success. And then it talks about the text and how it was successful, how the information was helpful, and then it ends by kind of broadening back out, and it links these different elements that they have described to kind of like the overall tone or theme of the reading. It says this design helps the visual ease of reading the information while making the Padlet look clinical, efficient, and cold, as most scientific writing probably reads. This reading is a scientific type article, so that's important that it explains that. The visual design of the Padlet board matches the seriousness and bizarre world of genetic engineering perfectly. So again, you don't want to just describe it, you want to go into the next level and also analyze what you've been talking about, and this is how you can do that. And then it also ends with a summary sentence that wraps everything up. While the visuals are an especially important piece of the Padlet design puzzle, the support given for the subject matter is just as essential. And that transitions us in nicely to the next topic sentence. The support for this Padlet is what makes the reading really come to life in the biography and the insight sections. So the topic of the paper is the Padlet, the topic of the paragraph is the support. It's a positive thing. Why? Because it brings everything to life in these two sections, and those are the two sections that they will detail. You have this first big chunk about the biography and this second big chunk about the personal insights, and they finish with a summary sentence. The support for the essay throughout the Padlet is concise, and the personal anecdote successfully adds another layer of thought for the reader to consider. So those were the two things that they talked about in this paragraph, and they wrapped it up by readdressing those. And then the final conclusion paragraph again continues to reiterate that it was a strong presentation. It revisits the different elements that it discussed in the body paragraphs, the organization, the visual design, the support. You are required to give your grade on the Padlet board. This one says it should earn an A, and it describes why. And so it's an effective conclusion. So hopefully this helps you as you begin to work on your Padlet board evaluation, and I look forward to reading this.